we've got a great show here again today. One of my favorite things to do is really get and spend time with some of the young entrepreneurs that are coming out of Indianapolis, especially in the technology space, and really had the pleasure of meeting Santiago Jaramillo. Did I get the name right, Santiago?
Yeah, that's right. That's good.
Only half butchered it, so you can butcher mine when you come on. So,
Sounds good.
So Santiago is one of those guys that you look at where you were at his age and wish that you had some of the stuff in your head that he has now. So Santiago's got a company called Blue Ridge Technology, right? And
Blue Bridge.
Blue Bridge. Sorry, I knew I'd screw that up. But they really are focusing on helping organizations get their value offering mobile. And particularly got two different niches that you've grown out of Blue Bridge. And talk to us about not only how you got into business, Santiago, like give us that story because I think it's great context, but then, where your business started and where it's going.
Sure. Well, first off, Tony, thanks for having me on here. It's a pleasure to be here with you. And really, it got started from this idea of just kind of stepping back a little bit and watching these technology cycles kind of happen throughout our lifetimes. Mm-hmm. And we really only get, 2, 3, maybe 4 of them throughout. And so, in the late 90s, it was this print to web revolution that happened, right? This idea that consumers would rather go to a website now to look up the address for a restaurant than look at the yellow pages. Huge shift, right? Print to web. And we're seeing, and I started to see something. I was working at Exact Target. I worked there for about a year in product marketing. And so I saw this kind of shift in the market happening as I was doing some of the research, and it was this shift sort of from web to mobile. And it's not a complete shift because it's not from print to digital. It's a shift within the digital sphere of things, but it's a monumental shift that I started to see happening, and actually the scale sort of tipped last June. So for the first time ever, the average smartphone user, which is now the majority of the US, spent more time in apps than they spent in their desktop or laptop browser.
Right.
Which is just a monumental change. I mean, I can't believe that it wasn't sort of touted as a more of a big thing. But so I started to see that, and I said, man, here you got kind of consumers wanting mobile-friendly information for consumption, and here are brands trying to talk to those consumers, and there's a gap because 97% of businesses have no mobile strategy, no mobile site, no mobile app. Nothing. So we try and bridge the gap between those.
Can't even get their site to their mobile device, right? I mean, that's really where most of the businesses are. Is they're not speaking to them into the language that they want to be communicated in. And and what it's like you're as you're saying this, I'm reminded of the email reminder I got this morning that AT&T was letting me know that I had reached my data limit for the month, and here it is, the 20th.
I got the same email today.
Right, yeah, and so it just testifies that is exactly what's going on. So you were a young entrepreneur and you saw this opportunity. What'd you do with it?
Sure. So I was in school at that time and stopped working for Exact Target and decided last May to just move to Indy. I didn't know anybody, and I said I want to do mobile apps. Now I knew nothing about mobile apps when I started. I knew just as much as any schmo that has an iPhone and has apps downloaded onto it. That's about as much as I knew. But I forced myself to go sell it, for 4 to 5 months, and that gives you a complete crash course in business development. I had to become an expert really, really quickly, sort of jumping into a pool and figuring out, I need to learn how to swim pretty quickly. Right. So that's sort of what happened. Things kind of started steamrolling around November while I was in school, so it was really, really tough to kind of finish out my last year strong and be able to kind of grow this business and add employees and take on bigger projects. But
so two verticals emerged for you because you had two specific apps. Now, one I think is really cool, which is this way for really fans of small colleges and even high schools probably could be applied to this to view and follow their teams through a mobile device. What is that called?
College apps.
Right. And so talk to us about that.
Sure. So if you look at sort of what happened with the web, at the beginning of the web, everyone was paying tens of thousands of dollars for a custom-made site, using no efficiencies of a CMS, using no efficiencies of pre-built sort of widgets and modules. Everyone just hardcore everything, and it was super expensive because nobody knew HTML
Right.
back in the day. And the same thing's happening now with mobile development. Organizations get charged an arm and a leg because all the iOS and Java development for Android have to be done completely from scratch. I think it's a looking ahead at what's going to happen already, it's a really broken way of doing things. So what we've said is, hey, colleges, you have an athletic department. It's one of your profit centers of your school. It's what drives admissions. It's a huge, huge value add to your university. You have a lot of students, alumni, parents of athletes. You have recruits that want to access that athletic information.
Right.
And so we said, you don't have to go out and get a custom app. We built a framework that we can just customize and brand to each specific school that has the roster, the schedule, all the events that are happening, and they have preferences. So if your daughter is in Purdue women's volleyball, you can sign up for only information about that. So you can put your preferences down for really targeted content. But where it gets really interesting is from an advertising place. So we're actually guaranteeing every single college that signs up with us that they'll get their money back in a year or less, or we'll match the difference so that they'll be able to monetize this app. And the reason is because the holy grail of advertising is three things. You got right message, right time, and right place. When you start looking at the marketing channels that are available today, see that maybe let's talk about email. Email has, you can have the right message if you craft it well, and you can have, the right time maybe, but you don't have the right place. You can't geo-segment based on if someone's in San Francisco, they get an email. With push notifications, you can. So Scotty's could sponsor push notification to go out to 5,000 people at the Butler game that is going on, that night, 5 minutes before it ends, saying, hey, listen, you're going to be hungry in 5 minutes. Here's a 20% off coupon if you show your ticket. And by the way, we only sent this to you because we knew that you were 20 miles away from a Scotty's. That's a massive, massive opportunity.
Yeah, it's not only great, it's not only a massive opportunity, it's a pretty easy sell from an advertising side, because, and I know that guys like you and me kind of make some of that stuff look easier than it is, but talking to Scotty and saying, hey, what's it worth to you to get your coupon in front of 150 to 500 people that are, literally a mile and a half from your store, and know we're going to be hungry.
Yep, it's amazing. It's so targeted. It's at the purchase decision time. That's when you're targeting them.
So Santiago, I know we could kind of do this forever, but what is the one thing you've learned on this evolution? Is it the model, the business model? Is that the toughest thing that you've had to get your head around? Is it building an organization, manage outsourcing? What you can advise all these young entrepreneurs out there that want to get their own business going, and you came at it the same way I came at it, from a sales side, leveraging opportunity.
Sure.
What is it you learned going to market here?
I think two important things. The first is for those kind of founders that those kind of the people that are thinking about opportunities and not doing it. A poor idea well executed is always better than a great idea poorly executed. If I said that right.
Yes.
I think you get the point. So the idea is go and move, do something, try out, talk to your customers, go sell. Even if you have nothing to sell, just show up at your target customer and say, listen, I can do this, I can help you with this. What do you need? And a lot of times it takes the pressure off of you coming up with this intricate, sales proposal, sales presentation. A lot of the times is all you need to do is ask them, how can we best meet your needs? And that's what we did for the collegiate athletic department. We went to Indiana Wesleyan and said, what is it that you need? We're really good at apps, but now teach us your business. Tell us how you think this could go. And they literally just told us exactly what they wanted, and we were able to come up with a really customized solution that wasn't only great for them, but that we could go and template out and use it for other schools that had a similar use case. Right. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is really the business model. I think business model is absolutely the most important thing in business, because your business model should fit with your personal life goals as an entrepreneur. Amen. And so I knew that I wanted to build a recurring revenue business, right, for different personal reasons. And I started off as a custom software business, which is having nothing to do with a recurring revenue business. Right. So that big lesson that I learned is always match your business model to your personal lifestyle goals of what you want to accomplish. And once you do that, then you have an amazing amount of synergy there that can happen. And so that's been a huge shift for us as we move from a custom software shop to a product SaaS-based solution. And so that's an interesting transition that maybe we can talk about some other time.
Right. Santiago Jaramillo, Blue Bridge Technology, living proof that there is no brain drain in Indianapolis, Indiana. Signing off.